So today we want to delve into some of our Brian Buffini lessons that we've learned, and he's got one that he calls the Dare.
Can't talk. Yeah, it was good, and I pulled it up. I made some notes. You want to hear them?
Yes.
Okay. Buffini does a lot of these mnemonics and a lot of acronyms, and the Dare, the D stands for discipline. And he talked about 6 elements of discipline that he got from a military manual. And he said, you know, this is like a motivational talk. Oh, Roscoe Jenkins wants to get in on that. Can you see Roscoe Jenkins?
Oh,
He's the star.
So,
He got me more Facebook views than anybody I've ever had. There's like 1,000 Facebook views. Diana put him up there, and she made me hold him. I don't even like dogs. Even
he wants to do Be Savvy.
He wants to. Roscoe Jenkins wants to do Be Savvy. Oh, look at there. She's got her little terrier too. See him, Roscoe Jenkins? See that?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay.
So, sorry, moving forward. Go ahead.
Okay. They can't hear you. They can only hear me because I have a microphone.
I know.
Good work. Good work, Betty. So much for discipline, huh?
I'm gonna send Karen a link and see if she can join us.
Okay, that would be awesome because I know she's got some really good feedback. She's always coming in with a couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Karen, obviously.
Tell her what to do, Jimmy. I'm going to send it to her. I don't know if she can hear me.
I don't know how to get her in. That's something I don't know how to do.
I do.
In a live stream?
Yeah.
Diana says she knows how to do it. You want her to take over?
Roscoe knows how.
I'm gonna. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. I just sent her a link.
I'm going to show you.
So all she has to do is tell your gal that all Karen has to do is click the link.
Click the link. All Karen, just click the link.
So everybody, we had 100 and what'd I say? How many closings yesterday?
126 closings and 56 new opens, which means people are not backing out. 126 closings in one day. That's significant. I think that's a big number.
Right. Karen, it doesn't matter if you have makeup on.
Listen, I have makeup on. What are you talking about? I always get made up before this.
So yes, we're going to have live classes right here at the Be Social Savvy Training Center, Shannon. And the first one, let me see if I can get this right, Jimmy. It's Monday, April 13th from 10 to 1, and we're going to talk about Can You Talk Investor, which is all about cash on cash and cap rates, and you'll get 3 CE credits for it. And we're going to use Zoom so that we can do online accountability, and it's going to be great.
So Shannon, we'll have your camera on, and that'll tell us that you're not playing with your dog or your son or whatever. Maybe that's your daughter. It's hard for me to see on this. I don't see very well as it is, but it's obvious that your kid is very important to you because they're writing your Facebook thing. Good for you. Happy. But yes, it's CE credits, general this time. But it's a really good class for right now because April 15th is coming up. And even if they might have had their taxes deferred, they're still going to have to pay them. And I'm convinced a lot of people are going to go to their accountant, and their accountant's going to say, you need to write off. You need to find some real estate. We're going to have some investors hit the market here pretty soon. And if we know how to compute a cap rate and we can talk investor, it's almost like speaking a foreign language. It helps.
Yes, it does. And years ago, I don't know if everybody remembers, I think his name was Alex Sharfton. He did the CIAS designation. Which was fantastic. It was, I think we were there for 2 or 3 days learning all about how to speak investor, how to flip houses, things like that. Karen Cachero, there she is. Good morning, Karen. So let's see, there you are. There's Karen.
Yeah,
So,
here I am in all my glory.
Karen, you're a Buffini person, right?
Very much so. Been living and breathing it for many years.
Habits, attitudes, and skills. If you didn't see her chat in the chat, it's habits, attitudes, and skills. Right on.
Yeah,
so
that is an excerpt from Peak Producer, which I'm actually teaching Peak Producer again right now.
Oh, good for you.
So yeah, that's what Peak Producer is all about: is habits, attitudes, and skills.
Is it Ecclesiastes that says a time to train and a time to learn and a time to go out and sell houses? I think that's what it says in Ecclesiastes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if you've listen to Brian Buffini's a very recent podcast.
Try to see if I can
Um,
turn
and it was on the acronym DARE. So we're going to talk about that today. And the first the first letter D is for discipline.
And he took from a military manual. He said, this sounds like a motivational seminar, but in this military manual, he said there were 6 points to this discipline. And the first one is self-control. You know, the word disciple comes from the word disciple, which means I study this. I'm a disciple. So discipline, it's self-discipline. It's people seeing you using self-control. And he talked about one of the signs that you have discipline, self-discipline, is can you be patient? When somebody's pushing your buttons, can you stay in love and can you stay disciplined? And it's hard. It's hard. I screwed it up this morning. In fact, we won't talk about my sins, but I had an early morning outburst this morning I'm not proud of. Number 2, discipline, he said, you know what, remove the temptation. And we've heard this on every diet program. They say, if you don't want to eat it, don't buy it. Don't go to the store when you're hungry. Don't have it on your shelves. Don't put yourselves in temptation's way. And he included television in that. You know, a lot of us have a TV habit that if we backed off on that a little bit, it would be good. He says, get rid of the distractions and the temptations.
Yeah, so self-control is a key ingredient. And one of the things that Brian says is that with self-control, we can learn how to be more patient. And when I was walking this morning, I was talking to people about how, you know, when this whole thing started, it tested my patience. And I'm a pretty patient person, but I got a little testy. You know, I did. My nerves were kind of on edge, and normally I can control all those things pretty well. But this time we're going through is a test of your patience. It really is.
Well, and there's a saying that none of us are balanced. We're only balancing. We're always balancing. We're not balanced. That would be a self-delusion to think we're balanced.
And Brian also talks about routine, and we have to get into good routines. And Karen, you're doing the HAS, which has to do with, you know, habits. And we have to create habits that are good and then stick to them. And it takes, what do they say, 7 weeks to create a habit?
Depends on the habit. Some habits take longer.
Yeah, it depends on what it is.
Yeah, like every day I keep reminding my husband, go back in the house and get your phone. But he has to do it for 7 weeks before he'll start.
It's normally about 30 days to create a new habit.
Yeah. And then routines. So every day I get up and I do my workout, you know, religiously. And the funny thing is that once you get into a habit and they're good habits, when you don't do them, then, you know, it's like, oh my God, my day's a disaster now because I didn't do my workout. But anyway, things, when you get into being habitual and have routines, it really gives you self-confidence and inner peace, I think. So Jimmy, I don't know what
I think it's even more important now than ever, which is why I'm trying to do some of the things that I'm currently doing. And I'm going into the office every day, and for the most part, I'm sitting there by myself. But it's good habits. I'm trying to still continue to work, and I'm still trying to be consistent, because consistency is everything.
And Karen, I think that's the definition of leadership. If you're the only one there, you're still showing up. You can see Ruthie's in her office. You can't tell, but I'm in my office every day. I'm showing up every day. Yesterday, I had only like 3 agents come in the whole day out of 130 agents. They're working from home. Some of them are working because I hear them. One of the agents is working from the office. She's the one that brought the dog.
Oh, how nice.
Unfortunately, I'm home because I'm waiting for this contractor to show up, and he's going to be getting here any minute, but then I'm heading to the office.
Well, so, I actually hired an agent yesterday.
Yay. People are going to work. People are going to work.
They are going to work, yes. Yeah, and I called the division. The division answered the phone. They told me what I had to do to get the send in everything so that the agent could start working next week. So, and I'm going to hire another agent today. So, you know,
they will take a hire slip at the division.
Yeah. Well, you have to mail it in. You have to mail it to licensing. And so they will be back, and they think they'll be going into the office one day next week to pick up all the mail and to get all that going, but
Okay.
not this week.
Good to
For
know.
some reason, I didn't ask her why.
Well, they
But
originally said the 18th, so next week would be appropriate. That'd be closer to the 18th.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
So we've got the discipline. Anything else we want to say about it? We've got our
Yeah,
habits, routines. We want
sorry.
to get to,
Yeah, I can go over that, but I'm more interested in Karen's comments because Karen has been here every single day that we've done this broadcast. So there's that consistency and that leadership, and I respect that. And if there's anything that, since you're on today with us, Karen, is there anything that you would throw out besides follow Buffini and pay attention, go to work? I'm looking at your thoughts.
Yeah, let me think on that. Well, I mean, I made the decision. I said that in one of the messages, like probably last week, that this was something that I was going to do every single day, and this is and I think it's important to be staying in touch with other people that are in the industry. So that's part of the reason I've been doing this every day is that I feel connected by being here and at least, hearing what you guys have to say, filtering in some things here and there. But I think right now you have to stay connected.
Mm-hmm. Important, for sure. Ruthie, if you want me to wrap up the Brian Buffini thing, the podcast was put up on the 31st, so it's a brand new podcast. And the discipline is first, the attitude is second. We don't need to talk about attitude. Number 3 in the dare was relax. And he said, this might seem counterintuitive, but he said, you have to be willing to take some time off. And he talks about the Pray app and Headspace and some tools that we have out there to help us with that relaxation. And then finally, he said, the E stands for energize. When you come in, are you bringing the energy with you? Are you bringing the energy?
yes. And when it comes to energize, you have to have energy. You have to feel good. And part of feeling good, especially right now, is drinking a lot of water, getting your exercise and getting enough sleep and eating right. And to be energized, that's all I have to do. And even when I don't sleep, I have energy. So I can't figure that one out.
Well, there's a saying that your energy precedes you. Your energy precedes you, and that's what I like about you, Ruthie, is you bring the energy all the time. And he talked about Eli Manning, the quarterback, and he said, "I just energize people," and just that's what he does. He energizes people, and we do it to each other. We feed off each other. We motivate each other. We inspire each other. And if there was one thing I took away, I understood discipline and I understood attitude, and I'm a big believer in four days a week. He talks about 4 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 10 months a year. This is my month to take. Maybe I'm going to take some time off because we have some time off here. This might be
Yeah.
one of my months. It's sometimes if you work for someone else, they tell you when your vacation is. Somebody told me when my vacation is. It's right now, but I'm going to work on my vacation.
Well, I've told everybody this is not a vacation. This is the time to really dig in, because most people are out there with their head in the sand.
Mhm.
So, um, I'm trying to instill. I don't have a lot of agents. I have a small office, but the agents that are really working this, and Buffini, as far especially Buffini, we're still meeting once a week and discussing things. And that was one of the biggest things that came up yesterday, is that you can't stick your head in the sand.
You don't
Right.
get to the peak that way. You don't get to the
Now
peak that way.
enter
You
it.
got to keep moving.
You got to keep moving. And I think back to 2007 and 8 when we went through that horrible thing. I mean, this is bad in a different way, but it doesn't compare to anything like what we saw back then. And I remember sitting in the office, in my little office at Remax. I was the only one there, day in and day out, and there wasn't many homes being sold. And at first I was buying into, oh my God, this is doomsday. And all of a sudden it dawned on me. I said, well, I started listening to The Secret, and I listened to the audio tapes over and over and over again. And it taught me that you gotta get your head in the right place. And I said, we're not selling many homes, but we're selling homes. And so why shouldn't one of them be me? And,
Well, Karen,
and that's the way I look at it.
and you're right. The perspective in the end of 2007, 2008, there were 4 months in a row, where there were less than 1,000 sales in all of MLS, and there were 1,600 real estate offices. So there wasn't even one deal per office for 4 months in a row. We had 126 closings yesterday. Just in one day, we had 126 closings.
I know, it's
So,
amazing.
yeah, we are still shaking and moving. You just got to get out there and be a part of what's happening and not put your head in the sand. And Ruthie and I talked about, what news do we watch? Who do we listen to? And we're trying to stay as positive as we can.
And that's exactly what I'm doing too. I'm trying not to buy into all the doom and gloom and really try to look at it from a different perspective. And I feel like that's what's going to keep us going and get us through this.
Thanks for joining us, Karen. I really appreciate you being with us.
And see how
You're
easy
welcome.
it is?
I'll do it again, and maybe next time I'll have makeup on and my hair done.
Well, we're going to be here tomorrow. And Jimmy, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? So I can prepare.
Well, I mentioned this before. Tony Schwartz and Brian Buffini did a program called "Are You on Fire?" and he talks about the disciplines of being on fire. And one of those is the habits that you develop. So I think if it's okay with you, I'll take about 10 or 15 minutes and go over that "Are You on Fire?" process. And it starts with the self-assessment. Where are you spiritually, financially, all the stuff that Buffini talks about all the time. It's a self-assessment. And he says it may be a little painful, but this would be the time to do it. This is the start of the second quarter. Whatever I did the first quarter, it's in the history books. I can't change it. I got to look for this quarter. What am I going to do this quarter? I want to look ahead for the next quarter. That's what I'd like to do tomorrow.
I think that's fantastic. And I will find it and listen to it so I can possibly add something as well. And a couple people want to know about our training. If you go to be.vegas, be.vegas, our training calendar is there. You can sign up for the Buffini class, everybody, so that you get your materials. And it starts April 17th. We have our next CE class, which will be live streamed, and you'll get credit. And that is Do You Talk Investor? We talked about that earlier. And then we have another one. I'm not looking at the calendar right now, Jimmy. Do you know when the next CE class is? I think it's the 24th, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I would say the investor one is the important one, though. That's coming up. It gets them on the Zoom platform. It gets them the credits, and it gets them able to talk the things they need to be able to talk right now. Really timely class. Timely
class, yes, because the investors that are sitting on the sidelines, they got out of the stock market, and they're going to want to buy real estate. And even at the median price home in Vegas today, there is a return on investment if you rent that home out, because the rents have gone up over the past couple years, significantly since 2008, actually.
Well, and one last prediction. When they come up with a cure, it's going to be like somebody turned a switch on for these investors. When there's a cure for this coronavirus, which they have $100 million prize out there right now trying to get a cure. When they come up with a cure and everybody says, oh, if I get it, I'll just get a shot. The investors are going to say, oh, shoot, let me jump in right now. And they're all going to get in. You got to be ready now.
I got to put in one more thing before we cut this off.
Sure.
And this is partially an agent formula thing, because I still have my back office of agent formula always going out with the blogs, and you've been sending the additional blogs. I heard from a client of mine, an investor client, yesterday. I haven't talked to him in 12 years. He called me. He said, I've been getting your stuff, and what's going on there, and what do you think's going to happen, and this and that, and do me a favor, watch out for a good deal for me.
Fantastic. That is
so they're
awesome.
Watching. Those
they are.
They're out there.
That just paid for 12 years of contacts right there. Good for you, Karen.
Exactly. And that's all that goes out. I mean, it just constantly goes out.
Cool.
And I heard from another client, it's probably been 8 years, a few months ago, that is looking to move back to Vegas. It's all because of staying in touch with people.
Good for you. Good job.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Ruthie.
guys.
Thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about Are You on Fire?
There you go.
Hey.
Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay.